right, everybody, let's go. What are we talking about now? Okay, I had the thought to talk about our philosophies, like,
Okay.
like in terms of like, I don't know,
Ben
moral,
folds five
political.
time.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I'm thinking like, what, I don't know, what drives us? Like, I actually once remember watching a podcast with Jordan Shanks and Neil Kolhatkar,
Mm-hmm.
because they do like the Neil and Jordan podcast. And they did a whole hour long episode on what drives you. Like they talked about what drives them, what kind of motivations are the right motivations, and I don't know, I'm just kind of having the idea to do something similar. What?
Okay.
I don't know. You want me to go first?
I I actually kind of have some stuff here.
All right, go for it.
Because I do know what drives me. But I'm gonna have to borrow from the Jews a little bit here. Don't worry, it's German. I'm only borrowing it this time. So we have this concept in Judaism. We see in the Mishnah the phrase "mipnei tikkun halam," um, for the sake of repairing the world. Um, and there are a bunch of legal enactments in the Mishnah which specifically have this justification. For instance, making sure that divorces are done properly, making sure that um, if a slave owner sets aside a slave as a repayment, that the slave must be freed. Um, that you do not purchase scripture documents for more than their actual value. Like you don't allow your religion to become a piece of extortion. But more broadly speaking, we have this concept of tikkun olam, which is just the idea that in Judaism specifically, that you establish godly qualities throughout the world, that you reflect um, the concept of supreme justice. Um, and while I'm not a Jew, obviously, just quietly slide away the pork chops, um, that idea deeply resonates with me. I want to leave the world in a better place than I found it. I want to do something which has a positive effect on the world. I want to the extent of my abilities, create the world that I wish to live in and that I wish my children to live in.
That is a
Like,
very, very lovely way of sort of putting all that. I mean,
but this is also why I'm getting an engineering degree. I've got to do something with this neurosis.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, that's my solution to that was politics, um, but also a bunch of other things. Um, I mean, okay, for me myself, it's a bit strange because I kind of have several philosophies that sometimes even contradict. That
Yep.
because I've
Duality of
been
man.
yeah, well, sort of. Okay, all right. There's two things here I have to know. One, I don't actually very much like talking about myself. I like talking about things that I'm doing, maybe, and I like talking about other things, but I tend to like distance myself from whatever I'm talking about. Um,
Mate, you distance yourself from yourself. You are so internally separated that I need to shove a tube of super glue up your ass and just.
Thanks for that image, and that's a tightening of orifices. Um,
It's a brand new psychotherapy. Super glue in the pooper.
all right, yeah, that's yeah. So if people haven't left already, they now have. So yeah. So what drive? I mean, look, here's the thing. People, okay, so there's the old saying that people are product of their environment. I think that's partly true, but I don't really think that is true. Because if that were solely the case, then I'd be trash right now that I only cared about myself. And I think that what kind of drives me in a way, this is going to sound sappy, and again, I don't like talking about myself. You can probably tell I'm getting really freaking awkward right now.
Getting? Come on, open up. Tell us about yourself. Don't make me come over there with an axe. Don't make me chop your skull in half to pull out your brain and reveal the juicy, juicy secret meat.
Okay, look. Okay, this is going to sound weird and really freaking sappy, but bear with me because it's not what most people are going to think when I first say it. What defines me is pain. Okay, what defines everything about me is pain. Specifically, the idea that I subscribe to, that there are two ways to deal with pain. Either you decide you want to share that pain with others or inflict it on others. That can kind of be healthy with the whole sharing thing. But, more so than that, the idea is that you pass that pain on in some way, or you decide that you don't want others to feel that pain ever.
Most healthy, well-adjusted people have a balance of both of these beliefs, because some pain absolutely must be shared for the good of society. For instance, we incarcerate people who do wrong, and some pain, for instance, beating the crap out of your children, is something that we learn from and decide we're going to be better than. Kyle, on the other hand, has a martyr complex.
That's not quite it.
Yes, but I'm going to drag you anyway because it's funny.
Yes. So essentially, God, fuck, this is real. Why is it so difficult just to talk about what actually motivates me? See, this is why I separated from myself, because it's a lot easier when it's not about me.
See, Kyle, this is why I say you have a martyr complex, because I'm just gonna pull out the hot poker and go straight in here. This isn't about not wanting to talk about yourself. And this isn't about not wanting other people to experience pain. This is about you wanting to remove other people from the mere concept of the suffering that you've seen. This is about thinking that you can hold on to it, that you are strong enough to just suck it up and deal with it, and that if you keep it in this really nice little lead-lined lockbox in your brain, then it can't hurt anyone ever again. And you are too young to carry that kind of weight.
Too young. I'm almost 30 now. I don't feel 30. I feel 60.
I spend a lot of time vacillating, right? Because sometimes I still feel like the scared teenager who has no idea what's going on with his life that I was in high school. And then I wake up and my back makes the wrong series of noises and I feel like I've suddenly turned bloody 80. And it's just like, can you please decide whether I'm young and terrified or whether I'm old and terrified?
My now ex-girlfriend used to joke that I'm a 60 to 80-year-old man. Hell, when I was 22, I actually took a mental age test, like a proper one that you pay for, and it turned out then I was 38. So that was interesting.
Well, I mean, you're about due for the divorce and the midlife crisis, so
Oh god! Wow. Okay.
All so according to Keikaku.
No, you're supposed to say all according to cake. That's the
no, I'm playing this version. Straight. I'm playing this straight. I have diabetes. I can't afford to have the cake be the entire plan.
All right. So anyway, look, I mean, again, I have a lot of different things that are pushing their way, wrestling each other for what motivates me. So a large part of it is like, essentially, I want, I don't essentially how I respond to that pain, because there's been a lot of it, is sort of part of what motivates me. Is that I want that response to be productive, positive. I want to put something out into the world that, like I want to make the result of that pain something beautiful, something better. I want the world to be better than that pain. Part of it is also that I am a very creative person and I like to build things. I like to create things. And, with that combined with this idea of moral obligation, in my mind, and I don't, this is where it really conflicts, because I don't think other people have to subscribe to this, but I feel like I absolutely have to, and that other people in my mind should, but again, don't have to. There's a conflict there. But essentially, if you are both capable and like if you're a capable person who can build something better in the world and cause change for the better, in my mind, you should do that. You absolutely should do that. And for me to do anything else with at least a significant portion of my life is, to me, it'd be wrong. It'd be wrong not to build something beautiful, something inspiring, something good for other people, to improve the world in which I live. And so I've kind of combined that with my creative energy, and come up with this nice big vision for what I'd like to see in the future with Australia and in our corner of the world. Large part of that, the part that I kind of like the most, is, well, the Murray-Darling economic development strategy, which I've talked about before. To me, it's, that also combines with the sort of the last part, which is problem solving. I'm a compulsive problem solver. I see a problem, I must solve it. It's a challenge. This is my ultra competitive side. There is, well, I was going to say no problem that I cannot solve, but there is one, and that's because you can't actually. It isn't actually a problem. It's people. You can't solve people. And so it's very much family related in all that, in that sort of area. But essentially, I've come to realize that you can't change people. They can change themselves, but they have to want to. Yes.
How many psychologists does it take to change a light bulb, Kyle?
How many, Horst?
Only the one, but the light bulb must want change.
Yeah. So that, so I'm very competitive and I like a challenge. And so I very much, all that combined has been like, okay, well, there are these massive problems which are by their nature massive challenges to overcome. They are challenges befitting someone who is very capable. Someone who can, if someone who is very good at problem solving, someone who can solve almost any problem, that's, it's like two puzzle pieces that fit together. It should happen. But again, that doesn't really make sense. It's almost a very emotional response, and I can't really intellectualize that.
I'm sure you can if you tried more, you coward.
Look, I want to intellectualize it, and I'm kind of trying now. But it's look. Here's the thing. Here's the last part that's like coming into my motivation, and that's what's healthy for me. Very personally, what's healthy for me. I'm trying to be healthy, like psychologically, which is not easy for me, because I'm a piping hot mess who is ultra competitive and has this whole like complex of duty where if I can do something, and I am one of only a few that can do that, and that something would be very good for everyone around me, then I absolutely have to, and there is nothing else I can do with my life until I've actually done that. And that is not healthy, but that is who I am, is at the core of the fiber of my being. That is who I am. I have to help others, but also I
That
need to
sounds
be
very similar to the Judaic concept that I was talking about earlier.
kind of, yeah.
Like the other thing that I am reminded of is this Japanese concept of ikigai, which is sort of the nice little intersection of the things that you're passionate about, that you're good at, and that provide a good.
Yeah, no, I have heard that one before. I heard that and I was actually very inspired by it. It was only a few
Mm.
weeks ago, actually. I can't believe I forgot it. But yeah, that's what I so that's all of that's what's motivated me. And that concept is kind of what I'm trying to merge everything into. So I'm trying to balance all of this by essentially going with that it's called ikigai, right?
Ikigai.
Ikigai. Yeah.
Ikigai.
Ikigai.
Yeah.
Okay, so ikigai. And so, I'm trying to like merge all of my like creative energy and duty driven nature and my need to help others, that kind of empathetic, um just what's the word? I've got a concept in my head, but not the word. It's like okay, the closest I can think of is like a need to take certain actions, but it comes from a place that is very innate.
Yeah, it's a drive.
Okay, yeah, we already have it. I'm just overcomplicating it now. Another thing that I do
Sorry,
a
I'm
lot.
just here's what I've gotten from this, right? You and I are both very poorly adjusted individuals with very complex psyches who are trying to like wrangle the things that are wrong in our brains and our minds and the desires to do things that we don't have an outlet for. We are trying to channel these energies and these psychological breakages in a way that makes the world a better place.
Yeah, yeah, no, that summarizes it pretty well, actually.
I don't think that anyone who is particularly well adjusted goes into either engineering or politics, just personally.
I'm not
Um
sure about engineering. I mean, engineering sounds like well, then again, that's I'm not well
yes, but
adjusted, so I
every
wouldn't think
engineer is
that.
insane. Trust me. I've met so many.
Fair enough, fair enough. But
We're just
yeah,
here trying to, make the world better by weaponizing our mental illnesses.
yes, we've weaponized our trauma in order to take on the evils in the world that are an inefficient system and political corruption and a lack of
Yep.
education in regards to civics. Well, we've run out of time. So yeah, I guess we'll end it there. But that's kind of what drives us utilitarian types.
Hey everyone, vote for Kyle and Horst because we have a deep-seated need to like make the world better rather than a deep-seated need to make our pockets heavier.
I'm not gonna lie, that's a fucking good point.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all right. Well,
Occasionally the shit posting has a kernel of truth.
yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll catch you later. Have a good one.
Okay. Take care, y'all.